Hey, welcome to the latest edition of Veterans Rant, Rattle, and Roll. I'm David L. Parker, Sergeant First Class Retired. Do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button so you know we're on here doing things. But for now, sit back and enjoy the show. Let's get to the next episode. Hey, welcome to another episode of Veterans Rant, Rattle, and Roll. I have the extreme privilege of talking with, what is he made? Captain, Major, General?
No. I got out as a first lieutenant, and then they promoted me afterwards to captain.
First Lieutenant Tony Alicea. How you been, Tony?
Good. And you, Dave?
Well, you know, I got long hair, a beard, and sort of chubby, so I'm pretty good. Thank you very much.
The American dream.
You were telling me you live in upstate New York now, right?
Yep.
Where are you from?
I'm originally from outside of Boston.
You don't have a Boston accent. What's going on with that?
Well, I've been here in upstate New York for the last 18 years, and, it comes and goes.
Cool. So tell us, what brought you in the Army? You woke up one day and said, I want to be in charge?
In high school, didn't really know what I was going to do, but I did know that I wanted to go to college, and so I went to a private military school up in Vermont.
Okay.
Because I was scatterbrained, let's just be honest, and I needed that routine, that regimented lifestyle to help me get through college. So that worked out pretty well, and then between my freshman and sophomore year, I had so much fun with the military stuff that I enlisted in the National Guard because I figured, you know what, if they're trying to make us future leaders, I might as well go and, at the enlisted side of the house to get a taste of what it is to be a troop. So that's what I did, and I went to Fort Benning, Alpha 254 Infantry up on Sand Hill, beautiful Sand Hill, the school of hard knocks, and loved it so much that I just graduated and got commissioned in the infantry as a second lieutenant, and the rest. Say it one more time.
Was that in the National Guard?
What? When I got commissioned?
Yes.
No, I got commissioned regular Army, active Army. I wasn't doing the National Guard thing. I had enough with the National Guard. I was like, it's time to, step away from the JV team and go up to the varsity boys.
So you, Fort Benning, and then did you go to OCS, or was it because you went to that military college you were ROTC'd?
ROTC. It was ROTC, and
what was your branch?
Infantry.
Oh, so you were true blue from day one.
I was true blue from day one, and yeah, that was it. The only thing I ever knew was how to be a ground pounder: throw on the ruck, take a knee, face out, and pull security.
Don't forget to drink water and rub dirt on it.
That too, but that's after you pull security.
So Fort Benning to where?
Fort Benning, back to Vermont. Then I went down to Fort Benning for the infantry officer basic course, jump school, and then ranger school, which didn't work out the first time. And then straight to Fort Drum in 2003. And when I showed up to Fort Drum to the reception battalion, it was, they looked at my paperwork and said, go straight to CIF.
Yeah.
I showed up to CIF. They gave me all this desert gear.
Yeah.
And you're going to 431. Oh, by the way, you're going to leave to Iraq next week. I was like, and that's where I ended up linking up with Bravo Company out in Iraq in 2003. It was
Bravo 431, yeah.
Yeah, it was like clockwork, they're just in and out. They looked at my, my paperwork, saw that I was an infantry guy, and they were like, yeah, don't get an apartment, just live out of your Jeep for a couple of weeks and have fun.
Well, as long as you didn't get comfortable, we want you to get broke in.
Say that one more time.
That at least they didn't let you get comfortable. That way you didn't get too broke in, right?
No, I didn't get comfortable at all. It was it was literally pack your stuff up and we'll see you in about 6 months. That's, you
So
know.
how long did you stay in? Did you leave Fort Drum and go anywhere, or was Drum it? What'd you do?
Drum was it. Because I was an ROTC cadet, I wasn't a scholarship cadet because, again, I wasn't the smartest bulb on the tree. I did my 3 years. I only had a 3-year commitment. Then after that 2005 deployment, I decided that was it. I'd had enough. I don't know if you remember, in 2005, one of the lieutenants got killed in Alpha Company.
Molson?
That's the one. I ended up having to take his platoon over after he passed away. So that was a little tough, having to go in. I mean, when I took that platoon, it was, you know, I looked at the guys and it seemed like a bunch of high school kids that just got their asses kicked in a schoolyard fight. But, you know, we got through the rest of the deployment, and at the end of that deployment, I said, you know what? It's time for me to stretch my feet out and try something else in life. So
That makes sense. It makes good sense. So let's do the fun part. Let's do the what made you crazy. Give me a rank, something.
what made me crazy?
Piss you off, anything. Something that just made you go, dang it.
Something that made me go absolutely dang it was poor leadership.
Okay.
It didn't matter if it was on the NCO side of the house or the officer side of the house. Poor leadership drove me crazy. And I'm a firm believer that in order to be a good leader, it's got to come from within here.
Agreed.
Here. The military can do their part and teach you textbook stuff, but if you don't have it in here and in here, you might just not get, you know, you might not get to that next level. And poor leadership, I mean, you've seen it just as much as I have. And if that does not drive you crazy, I don't know what else will, you know.
Right. I can tell you're holding back a little bit. You ain't going to throw any names out there. I respect that. You got something that you remember that was that one time, that one thing that one person did? Do you have any examples of that? Okay.
Absolutely. And, you know, in particular, there was a drill sergeant of mine from Alpha 254, E6, and he wasn't a nice guy. And I'm not talking about the drill sergeant side of the house, because I understand that role and what he was trying to do. But as an individual, I didn't care for him. And he had pushed my buttons one day, and I was that close. It would have been an E3 to an E6 fist fight. And I didn't. I bit my tongue because, you know, I have to respect the rank. Don't have to respect the person, though. So I let it go. Years later, here we are at Fort Drum doing the transition program. Years later, we're talking 99, we're talking 2007 timeframe.
Okay.
He's retiring, or he's getting chapered out of the military as an E6. I didn't say anything. I said, hey, drill sergeant. And he came up to me and I said, remember me? I was one of your privates in Alpha 254. And he says, holy shit, look at you. You know, young lieutenant, you've done well for yourself. And I said, I see you're still an E6. And he said, yeah, I'm getting out of the Army. I said, the Army done right in my book. The Army done right, because you know what? He was not a nice person. Got it. Was he a good infantry soldier? I don't know. I never really got to see that side of him. But the way he did things as a drill sergeant made me go like this a couple times. You know what I mean? Just
Yeah, I do. Back when I went through basic training in 1984, in that era, we used to refer to those people as BDU bullies. Saying the word BDU pussy didn't rhyme quite as well.
yeah. So
I'm a rank tough guy. I always loved the rank tough guys. Well, I'm so and so. Well, so what? I'll still punch you in the mouth. What are you talking about?
exactly, and that happened a couple times too. You know, and And throughout my time enlisted, you know, people, well, I'm so-and-so. Big deal. Doesn't matter to me.
Right.
You know, I put my pants on the same way you do, one leg at a time.
You don't jump off the bed and put them both on at the same time since you're airborne?
Yeah, no.
No. Oh, cool. That was not a bad rant. I get it. BDU bullies, DCU, whatever you want to call them. You know, ACU freaking tough guys. I mean, they definitely all over the place. I dealt with them when I was a private, a sergeant, a senior at NCO as an E7. I dealt with them when I got out. Still deal with them today.
You still deal with them
today. Doesn't make it tough.
It doesn't make it tough. And, you know, you talk about that whole tough factor. I was out on my motorcycle riding one day, and I know you're a Harley boy. Riding my fat boy, you know, pulling into get some gas, and one of these motorcycle club guys was standing there acting all tough and giving me the eye. And I was like, you know what? I'm ready to roll anytime you want. You know, just because you wear a certain color or something doesn't mean anything to me.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. All right, so let's move on to what I love, the roll on the floor. You got to have, look at you. You're about to bust out laughing. Come on, Tony, give it up.
What's that?
The roll. Give me something. No shit, there was a story. Something funny.
Something funny. Oh, boy. If Ken McCardle can just listen in. This is the Ken McCardle story, and I will never, ever, ever forget it. He done about give me a heart attack at the ripe old age of 21.
Okay.
Myself, Jamie McCarrick, and 4 other troops from Bravo Company, we were at Fort Drum, and they said, you guys are going to hop on a bus down to Fort Campbell, Kentucky. I'm like, Fort Campbell for what? So they sent us down to Fort Campbell with 5th Group, the SF guys, and they gave me a packet of information and said, when you get down there, link up with Master Sergeant so-and-so. And I said, all right, not a problem. So we get down there. I give the guy the packet of information. He says, all right, great. You guys are going to go into this isolation facility, and we'll come and pick you up when the plane's ready to leave. So every night, as the good lieutenant I was, I would march the E4 and the rest of the E1s and 2s down to the Class 6, get 30 beer. Oh, John Hearn. You remember John Hearn?
Sure.
He was there also, and we would walk back with 30 racks of beer and liquor and walk back to this isolation facility, and we would drink all night. I mean, drink all night until it was time to go. So this Master Sergeant comes in and he says, hey, pack your stuff up. You guys are leaving in a few hours. I'm like, leaving in a few hours? Where are we going? Well, I knew we were headed to Iraq, but you're leaving to Iraq. So everybody packs their stuff up. We throw it in the back of a pallet, back in the back of a C-17. They pick us up, bring us down to the airfield, and we fly off. We did a mid-air refueling over Nantucket, Massachusetts.
All right.
We flew over to Germany, and then from Germany straight into Baghdad. And when we pulled into Baghdad, now let me remind you, none of us had any weapons. Nothing.
10th Mountain became, trust me, on my other playlist that's coming out called Forgotten Truckers, 10th Mountain is infamous for sending troops on their own to Iraq with no freaking weapons.
Weapons. Nothing. I had a pocket knife. Everybody had a knife. We're grunts. A grunt without a knife is just, it doesn't happen. So we get in Baghdad. It's freaking like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and all these guys are standing behind me like, like what the hell's going on? And I said, well, when we get here, we're supposed to link up with this guy, First Sergeant McCardle. He's the company first sergeant. So we land in Biop. This was shortly 2003 timeframe. I don't remember the date off the top of my head, but we land, and Mac.
After May, so it must have been June, July.
I don't remember. Yeah, it must have been June June time frame. So Mac's at the end of the tarmac in these two little Toyota pickup trucks. And there's no doors. The windshield's blown out. And he's like, where's my 10 Mountain Boys at? Smoking a cigarette. And I'm like, that's us over here. We're your guys, we're your guys. And he says, all right, throw your shit in the back of the truck, get in the trucks. And I'm like, man, there's two Toyota pickup trucks. There's 6 or 7 of us. So we jump in the back of these trucks, and off in the distance, you hear a bunch of gunfire going off. I mean, it sounded almost like an ambush. That much ammunition was going off, and you could hear it off in the distance. And Ken McCardle says, God damn it, I told Haji to wait till we at least get you back to the fob to get you weapons. And he locks himself around.
Yeah.
And I look over at Jamie McCarrick. Jamie McCarrick sitting behind the driver, and I'm sitting behind Ken. And Jamie pulls out his Gerber Leatherman, flips it open, and pulls out the knife. And he's sitting there in the truck with this knife. And I was like, what? So I grabbed my knife. I had knife in our hands. And Ken's like, yep, they must have got ambushed or something out in the distance. So, boys, if anything happens, just stay in the seat. I'll take care of everybody for you guys. And we take off. We take off into the distance, not realizing that the Radwania Palace complex was pretty much connected to BIOP.
Right.
We really didn't even leave the wire.
Right. No, not even a little bit.
No, not even a little bit. But I'll tell you what, Jamie McCarrick and myself were shitting bricks.
First Sergeant had you completely thinking you were going downtown rock and rollville, and kept you inside a compound. He probably wasn't even wearing his gear, was he?
You know what? No, he wasn't. Now to think about it, what were we supposed to know?
Yeah, no, I get it. That's just hilarious to me.
But
you just mess with you something fierce.
So when we got to the little complex there at the RPC,
yeah,
we all just slept because everybody was sleeping and whatnot. People were still pulling guard and whatnot at the arch and at the different entry control points. But we got there and I remember going over to First Sergeant McCardle and saying, "What was that?" And he goes, "That was probably just the SF guys doing a night practice qualification at the range down the street." He goes, "Oh God, no." He's like, "You kidding? We didn't even leave the fob, or we didn't even leave the safe zone." And I'm like, "You mother."
So what you're saying is he had you so wired in that somebody couldn't have nailed a BB up your backside with a sledgehammer.
Absolutely. I mean, it was, and looking back on it now, some 17 years later, that was probably one of the funniest fucking things I've ever seen done in the military. I mean, but the thing was, he kept a straight face the whole time, didn't even bat an eye. He threw it around to his M4 and he was just like, he's like, "Damn it, I told him to wait till we got you weapons at least."
Yeah, that's a hoot right there.
Welcome to Iraq. Hey,
at least it was all downhill from there.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't too bad, but no, that deployment was rather interesting, needless to say.
Yeah,
because we were there at the RPC for about a week and a half. Then we went to the safe houses all over the place. So.
Cool. So, this whole thing is about building connection, because whether a soldier serves 1 year or 30 years, it seems like we get out, anybody in any branch of the military gets out, loses connection, which is all about stop 22. We want everybody to, keep on fighting a good fight with us. Tony, if you had a chance to talk to somebody that was in a bad place, thinking about riding the lightning on out of here, what would you say, brother?
What would I say? We all have our challenges. We all do. If you don't have a challenge or something that scares you or brings you to that point, then you're full of shit. We all, but at the end of the day, you got to pick the ruck back up, throw it on your back, and step on out. All right. Don't be afraid to get help. I talk to soldiers all the time. When we're in that OP pulling security and your feet are bleeding, guess what? You got a medic there to help you out. Don't be afraid to ask for help. You can't do it alone. All right. I mean, it doesn't matter who you are, whether you're Mark Milley, who's now the chief of staff, at the right hand of the president. You can't do it alone. You can't. It's just not possible. So don't be afraid to reach out, whether it's a telephone call or just stopping over for a beer and shooting the shit. You can't be afraid. You can't.
Jump on here, fast forward all the videos to the laugh part and watch it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Amen.
There was one of those memes or one of those things on Facebook, about a kid in a foxhole, and he was at that point. He wanted to ride the lightning out. And another troop jumped in the hole with him, and the kid said, "What are you doing here?" And he says, "Well, I'm not going to let you go by yourself. I'm here to help you out, and I'm getting you out of that foxhole." And it's the same shit. You know what? Don't be afraid to reach out. We've lost a number of good folks over the years as a result of, self-inflicting pain on themselves. But
Yep, you're right.
that's the easy way out. You know what? No, you fucking suck it up and you drive on, one foot in front of the other.
Well said, brother. Well said. So now that you're out, what's the next adventure? What you up to? What you been doing?
Post-COVID, my wife said, "Go outside and build a horse barn."
But what have you been doing since you got out of the Army?
Oh, so out of the Army, I'll tell you what, I hit rock bottom.
What? Tell me about it.
Just a lot of drinking.
You got out. Were you married to Maria?
No, was not married, wasn't working, couldn't find a job back in 2005.
Nobody wanted to hire a lieutenant?
Hell no. Especially coming from, coming out of Iraq and whatnot, people were still scared at that time.
Okay.
Say, "Oh, we're military friendly, my ass." Saying it and showing it are two different things.
Right.
Show me how you're military friendly. Don't say it. I could care less. You could say all you want. But so it took me about 2 years to find a decent job. And my job was helping veterans find employment.
Okay.
I ended up being pretty good at the job. So they sent me here to Fort Drum to help out up in this area. And that's what I did. If you're transitioning out of the military, my job was to help you find a job. That's it.
You specialize in upstate New York or anywhere?
Specialized in upstate New York and in central New York. But then if you were going to Alaska, Guam, Virgin Islands, wherever, I would link you up with somebody else like me.
Awesome. And you're still doing that today?
No, I got promoted. The federal side of the house that paid for that position with the state said, "You're pretty squared away." And I said, "Eh." I said, "I do what I'm told. I try to do it to the best of my ability." They said, "You want to come to the feds?"
What's going on here?
Say that again.
A squared away lieutenant? Stop it.
Get out of here. So after 3 years in that position, they promoted me to the federal side of the house. And now I investigate companies who violate federal law that protects service members and their employment rights with their employer.
Is there a lot of that?
Sarge. Yes, there is a lot of that. Even post 9/11, there is still a lot of that goes on. And when it does go on, that's where you reach out and you pick up the phone and you get in touch with somebody like me, or you file a federal complaint and we go and investigate the company.
Okay, so give me an example about what you're talking about. What is atypical?
Reservist or National Guard member, 2008 timeframe, you work for a company XYZ down in New York City. Okay, you're making $40 an hour, you're doing well, and you get activated to go over to Iraq in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom.
Okay.
You tell your employer, hey, I gotta go.
Right.
You go, you do your pre-deployment, your post-deployment, your deployment, your post-deployment, and you come back and you tell your employer and you say, hey, I'm back, I'm ready to work. And they say, too bad, we hired somebody else. You can't come back. That's where we step in. That's where we step in and say, yes, not only do you have to take them back, there are certain benefits and entitlements that they're entitled to, that they're protected by going on federal active duty orders. And everything and anything in between. Dave, I could tell you no two stories are the same. So, and I have to be careful because I'm not there to represent the veteran, and I'm not there to, go after the employer. I'm there to enforce.
You're advising the law on the situation?
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what we do. And I'll tell you, there's times where, I hate to say it, where you have service members that'll try to use the law to their advantage.
Sure.
But yeah, that's what I do now. And I'll tell you, I've been doing it now since 2008-9 timeframe, and I wouldn't have it any other way. I love it. Love the job.
Very cool. Yeah, when I owned my company that ended up with a couple of locations and 82 employees, there was a time that the Federal Labor Board came in and did a payroll audit.
Yep.
Piece of cake. I mean, we gave her binders this freaking big, but it's no big deal because we always did our best to make sure we were straight up.
Because you did what was right. You did what was right, and you were doing things by the book. Okay. And if you do things by the book, you'll typically not have any problems with us. But there's times where employers will try to skate by, or service members will try to skate by and be like, no, listen, that's not the way it works. This is what the law says. This is what is going to have to happen here. Like last week, I can tell you right now, I got into a fight with an attorney. Not my case, but because I'm one of the most senior investigators in the region, not only probably the agency, the investigator called me up and said, hey, can you help me out with this guy? He's being a jerk. I said, sure, let's get on the phone. I said, I love me a jerk. So got on the phone, and the attorney and I had a knockout, drag out. And at the end of the phone call, I was able to get that service member about $2,000 worth of lost wages.
Awesome. Well done.
So, you know what? And at the end of the day, I don't care if the guy was a jerk. I was an asshole too. I laid into him. I laid into him, but we got him the lost money, close the case, move on.
Well done. I'm sure the service member was grateful.
Yeah, no, I'm sure he does.
Cool. All right, Tony, you got to reach out to some of your troops and some other people and have them come on here and help us build this community of interviews, of rants, as I call them, so other veterans can plug in. You know some, so send them this way. Let's get them on here to rant away, even if they rant about you.
Oh, and that's fine. And I'll tell you what, I encourage it. Help get things off your chest. And I'll tell you, Dave, it brings me a lot of joy to see you out here doing this and spreading the message. If anybody in my time in the military, NCO wise, I could see, it's you. It's you. I mean, you're all over the place. A few weeks ago, I'm watching you. You're in Colorado, then you're out in Maryland. You were with Arthur Brong.
Yeah, AJ. I remember him well. He was a young second lieutenant when they handed him to Sergeant First Class Magdaleno. At that time was the platoon sergeant, but we had split the platoon in half, so we had 2 patrols. I got 1 patrol, Magdaleno got the other. So yeah, AJ and I go back 15, 16 years.
Oh man, that's
Him as a lieutenant colonel. Wow, that was great stuff.
wait, say that he's a lieutenant colonel?
Lieutenant colonel at Fort Bragg. You better believe it.
No.
I swear he hasn't aged a day. I swear he's still that young second lieutenant they gave me, right? And I did, Lieutenant Colonel Phil Radzikowski, who I'll bet $1,000 makes full bird.
Really?
Yeah. That dude was always a rock star. I really appreciated him. I enjoyed that. Being able to hang out with the guys, that's one of the biggest reasons I went on this vacation with my wife, because we adopted the grandboys, and the grandboys went and spent a little time with their maternal grandmother in Utah. So we just hooked up the trailer and hauled butt across. I mean, we went and seen our kids. We have a daughter and son-in-law who are police officers in Iowa, and then we went to Kansas to see some friends, and then out into the Virginias where I seen, holy mackerel, 8 or 9 NCOs that I know, and then some officers, and then down into Texas to see some more. They're everywhere. And that's another reason that I'm trying to do this, is because one thing I realized being out there with them is they need the connection just as much as I need the connection, just as much as anybody who served needs that connection. I mean, it's just, we all put some mud in places we weren't supposed to go, sand in places we probably can't get out yet. So why not share our stories and build a connection? I swear to God, I swear, and I haven't deployed. My last deployment was 2012. I retired in 16 because after 61 months, the Army said, okay, knock it off. Go do this job. And I'm like, fine. Anyway, I swear, every few weeks I'll be brushing my teeth and I spit sand in the freaking sink. I swear to God.
God, man, I could always laugh. I mean, always count on you for a good laugh, Dave. Always, always, always.
Well, and the bottom line is I'm so damn funny looking that if what I say ain't funny, this face will crack anybody up. So we're all good to go, right?
You don't look a day older, other than the grays.
What are you, dude? You done lost your mind. I'm going to put a freaking picture of me right here before I edit this video of what I looked like back then. All right, just because you said that.
Crack me up. You crack me up. But no, I really appreciate you doing this.
Right. Thanks for coming on here, Tony. All right, everybody, remember this is all about connection. If you want to be part of this, you can go on to www.veteransrantrattleandroll.com and hit book now and come in here and share your story. You can find us on Facebook. We're on YouTube. And very soon, the podcast is coming because, as I'm trying to say, I have a face made for radio. So again, thanks for watching Veterans Rant, Rattle, and Roll. Thank you again, Tony, for coming on here. It's been a great time.
Absolutely.
All right. This is Sergeant First Class retired David L. Parker signing off. See you next time. I'm out.